You're listening to the Book Your Dream Clients podcast, episode 57.
You're listening to the Book Your Dream Clients podcast, where we believe business can be simple and you can use your intuition to run towards your goal. Self-made business and success coach Lindsay Maloney helps you start and scale your dream coaching business. With her step-by-step intuitive and creative guidance, you'll leave ready to put her tips into action, push your business forward, and work with your dream clients. Lindsay is here to help you get unstuck and structure your brilliance into a coaching business that's sustainable and financially exhilarating. Here's your host, Lindsay Maloney.
Today, you guys are going to be listening to my dear friend Claudia chatting all about mindset, and then we get into meditation. Claudia is an amazing meditation teacher, and she even has an incredible offer for you guys. So make sure you listen all the way to the end to hear that. I know you guys are going to love this, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Claudia, thank you so much for being on the Book Your Dream Clients podcast. I've been so excited to chat with you. How about you just go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do and who you serve?
Thank you so much, Lindsay, for having me. And I just want to celebrate you because you're doing something so beautiful and you're creating this wonderful platform for women entrepreneurs. And I'm just so grateful that you're creating this amazing space. So thank you, first of all. So my name is Claudia Acha, and I'm a peak performance coach, a meditation teacher, and a healer. So I've been traveling around the world and learning from the most successful people and basically just combining their best strategies, tools, and wisdom. And I use all of this to transform fear into power, confusion to clarity, pain into joy, doubt into confidence, stress into peace, and disease to vitality. My focus is on unraveling each of my clients' gifts to help them eliminate their self-doubt and fear and help them just build unshakable self-confidence so they can unlock their unlimited power.
Those are all so powerful. And Claudia, I've known you for a while, and you are the definition of a healer. You're so good at showing people about how their potential and showing them how to unwrap them. So you summarize yourself so good. So I want to talk to you about what you do in your business. How did you get started with this?
Yeah, definitely. So as a healer, we come into this role, right? And as coaches, we come into this role because we've struggled ourselves, right? I don't think you can be in your light until you've seen your darkness and embraced it and you shined light in that darkness. And so for me, this journey was really about self-healing. And that's what also took me on this quest. I went to 29 countries and I've been trying to meet, with the most wise and the most holistically successful people because I wanted to know how to heal myself, both mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And so this journey was definitely about self-healing. And now that I feel like, I finally stepped into my power, I want to empower others to do the same.
I love that. So now that you have all of these tools, how is it that you're able to connect with people and kind of match up with them so quickly and make them feel like you are the one that will help them?
Yeah. So actually, to be honest, this is just one of my intuitive gifts. For some reason, just when I speak to someone, I just completely open up my heart to them. And I do it from a space of where they feel safe and they won't feel judged. So just definitely creating a safe space is so important, right? When you're working with people, because they're reaching out to you because they're obviously struggling with something. And if you are there and you create that safe space, then they'll share with you everything, right? Because when you really speak to people, yes, they may be having maybe business issues or health issues, but that's really tied to something like deeper, right? Like, for example, Tony Robbins always says, right? Like, a business is successful because 80% of the psychology attributes to that success, and 20% is just the strategy and the tactics. So if your mindset is not right, then whatever you do in terms of your business or your health or anything that you're doing, it's going to show there. So you really have to create that safe space so that person can go deep and figure out what's that thing that's causing that block.
That's so true. Because everyone can come to a coach for this very surfacey reason, but whether it's a business coach or meditation or whatever people are thinking those surface problems are, it always goes deeper, no matter what profession, no matter what kind of coach you are. Your clients, their problems, they go so much deeper. So I love that you have the tools to go really deep with people. How are you able to connect with them and make them feel like you're going to help them? And sometimes your knowledge is probably like 10 to 20 steps ahead of people, I'm guessing. So how can you connect on that level with them first?
Yeah, definitely. This is something that I've had to work on, to be honest with you. I definitely was talking, like you said, I was talking 10 steps ahead of the client, and they just couldn't keep up, and it was too overwhelming. Like one of your previous guests on the podcast was talking about how you don't want to overwhelm the client, right? And that's so true. And one of the things is that you have to get in their level and speak their language, right? You need to, and the way you can do this is you just ask a bunch of questions. Okay. People love to talk about themselves, and that the more that you know about people, the more you'll understand their story, right? Because they may be telling you one thing, but that's really tied to something much deeper. And this is where it's like, you need to get 20 layers deep. So I always start off with asking questions. Like one of the big characteristics I use to figure out whether I will be able to help someone is I ask them, what's your situation right now? And then in a year, in 3 years from now, what is that perfect situation for you? And I ask them to describe it for me with as much detail as possible. And then if I feel like I can help them and guide them and take them to that, next level, then I work with them. But I think just being completely vulnerable and genuine, there's nothing that beats that. And I think just doing everything from the heart, and people will really, really feel that, they'll definitely feel that. So whatever you're doing, just do it from the heart and just trust that it's right, and people will feel it and they'll open up to you as well.
I agree. I think asking questions is so powerful, and it's a great way to make people feel really special. Because I think that when people are starting to feel overwhelmed and they're struggling, it's because, deep down they're not feeling like they're enough. And when you ask questions, it makes people feel like they matter. I think that's so important as a coach, to be full of questions and just keep the conversation going that way. Okay, so tell me about how you feel like you work best with your clients before they have paid to work with you. I love to ask different types of coaches, what's your method of warming people up and creating things for them to feel like they can connect with you, but they haven't spoke with you yet or worked with you quite yet?
Yeah, I think just like sharing my story with them, right? Like just being completely vulnerable and sharing, my darkest moment, and just telling them like, look, I've been there. And I know I develop that empathy with them. I think that's very important. Because, and you've said this over and over again, right? That people just see the end result, and they don't, we see Instagram and we see all of these perfect images, but, you went through a lot of challenges and some dark periods to get there. So I think the more that I share that with them, they're able to be like, oh, okay, I can relate to her. Like, she's not this perfect, coach, or this is this perfect healer. And I think that also gets you on their level, and gets you to trust them when you open up and you share your own vulnerabilities.
I agree. There's so many, we just see the highlight reel of everyone's day. We don't see the other 23 hours and inside what their days consist of. And I think we compare ourselves a lot to this tiny minuscule amount of, an Instagram story or a post, and we think that we need to be just like that. And what can you say to somebody who feels really caught up in that comparison game where they're feeling like they're just never going to be that person, but they keep just struggling and pumping out things that they don't feel aligned with? What can you say to that coach who's struggling with that?
Yeah, I would just say that is the source of why you're struggling in your business. Because like I said in the beginning, right, like 80% is your mindset, and then 20% is your strategy and your tactics. So if your mindset is that, oh, I'm not as good as them, I'm not enough, then that's going to show in how you speak to your clients and the type of content that you're creating. So I would just say the number one rule is to compare yourself to the person you were yesterday, right? And all of us, every single day, we do one incredible thing, right? Whether we give someone a piece of advice or we just listen to a client, every single day you're doing something amazing. So just measuring those small things, those small wins, and celebrating yourself for that, and saying, wow, yesterday I did this, and today I'm doing this to empower and help my clients. That comparison is a healthy comparison and a useful one. We want to use useful comparisons, not something that's going to be toxic and not efficient for our business.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice. I haven't heard anybody word it like that before. I love that. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, because we don't recognize all of the little things that we do every day. We think that we just need to have these big accomplishments, and we put dollar signs attached to everything. We just get so caught up in that. And when we don't meet those expectations that we have no control over, we feel really crummy about ourselves. So let's talk to the person who, they know mindset is really important. I remember hearing that years ago and thinking, yeah, whatever, that's and mindset sounded really boring. So let's talk to the person that wants to kind of dip their toe into mindset and all of that good stuff. How can they kind of get a small start on that?
So one of the really fascinating things about this podcast, right? Like, you brought so many different types of guests, Lindsay. And every single guest has talked about mindset, right? And for everyone listening to this, that's not a coincidence, right? The reason why every single guest on this podcast and Lindsay is constantly talking about mindset is because it's the pillar to your success, right? If you don't think you're good enough, if you don't think you can make it, then you're not going to make it. It's as simple as that. So with everything, right, it's just baby steps, right? It's a muscle. I think mindset is confidence, right? And confidence is a muscle. Like, people build confidence, right? It's like not everyone's born with this incredible confidence, right? So I would definitely just say every single day when you wake up, even before you open your eyes, be grateful for 3 things about yourself, and even I did this before I opened my eyes. And if you can start your day off with this, then you're going to train this muscle, right? And it's going to become a habit, and all the neurons are going to start firing, and it's going to start making your self-value a normal thing for you. So just wake up every day and just think about 3 amazing things about yourself, and make sure they're different every single day. And they can be big or small, oh, I make this delicious pancake, or, I help this client overcome this huge block. So just find something that works for you.
Yes, I think finding something that works for you and not thinking you have to do what everyone else does, and it might not feel very aligned with, your lifestyle or whatever it is. You just do what works for you. I mean, we can all think of 3 things that are good about ourselves, right? We can all do that. And I even asked that in our Facebook group a couple of days ago. And I just love seeing people talk about good things about themselves, because you hear a lot of people with the complete opposite. And when we're coaches ourselves, we really have to recognize that our mindset affects our clients and our students, whether they're present or future.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's the thing that you've said before, right? I think it was the episode where we talk about what do you do when you're feeling overwhelmed? Well, when you're feeling overwhelmed, then your brain and your body goes into chaos, right? And your heart is beating fast, your mind is like racing, so you don't have that clarity. And if you don't have the clarity, how are you supposed to guide your client into clarity, right? You're just not going to give them the value that they are paying you for.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So if, we wake up in the morning, we're grateful, we name some things that we like about ourselves. What's like a level 2 thing that we can do to really up our game with mindfulness, mindset, and all of that?
Well, I would recommend meditation because I'm biased, of course, because I'm a meditation teacher. Because most of the time you are like, we have, I think it's like 94,000 thoughts a day. Right? And 93% of those thoughts are the same that we had yesterday. And I think somewhere else, like I've read that 70% of those are negative thoughts, right? And most of the time, we're not even aware of all of this, right? And this is where meditation is an incredible tool. And I like to talk about it as a technology, because meditation is a technology into your conscious and subconscious mind, because 95% of the time we're using our subconscious mind, right? So right now, as you guys are listening to this episode, you guys are breathing, right? But you're not thinking in, out, no, right? All of that is stored in your subconscious mind. So all of those negative thoughts, all of those worries and doubts that you're having, you're not even aware of them, but you're just building them into your subconscious. But if you start meditating, you just need 10 minutes a day. And if you meditate, like let's say with becoming more clear or becoming more confident or whatever you want to achieve, then all of those programs that you want will get downloaded into your subconscious mind. And so like it's almost going to be effortless for you to change, right? Like you're not even going to have to consciously think about, oh, I have to be positive. No, it's just automatically going to happen. And I think that's the most powerful thing about meditation. Harvard did this study and they found that in just 8 weeks of meditating, your brain will physically change. So even if you're completely new to meditating, in just 8 weeks, you will change your brain. And so what happens is that your frontal cortex grows in the amount of gray matter, basically neurons. And so you'll be able to learn faster, be more calm, make better decisions. And you will also decrease your amygdala, which is basically your stress response and your anger response. And so you'll be able to manage your emotions better. And once you're able to manage your emotions, right, emotions and thoughts are so interlinked. And so then you'll be able to have more control over them. And then you'll be able to create just more effective environment for yourself, to just be more positive and productive.
Love it. I remember hearing about meditation 2 years ago, and I never started meditating until last fall. And it's been such an important tool that I use every single day to grow myself personally and through my business. I can really tell if I miss one or I just, I'm not feeling very aligned. There's only a couple of people that I like to meditate with, and you are one of them. And then I also love Emily Aarons. She's been on the podcast. There's a few that I feel really connected to, and I feel like I can get like a great session with. Do you feel that way too? Do you listen to meditations or do you do your own?
So the thing about meditation, I should also say this, right? Because we're saying about starting new habits, right? So meditation is also a muscle, right? Your mind is going to wander, and that's totally fine. The point of meditation is not to quiet your mind. It's actually to make you more aware of your thoughts, right? So you have more useful and productive thoughts and get rid of the negative thoughts like self-doubt and worry and fear and all that. And so when I started my journey, I started listening to guided meditations, yes. But now I no longer use them. Now I just chant mantras or just sit in stillness or do visualization exercises. So again, right, there's so many different types of ways to meditate, and you have to find the way that works for you. But for those of you who are listening to this and like are freaking out and are thinking, no, I can't quiet my mind, it's like that's impossible. Don't worry. That's not what meditation is, I promise. And so I wanted to do something very special for this community. And I wanted to give you guys exclusive access to my 8-week meditation program that's modeled after this Harvard study. So I want to get you on track to changing your brain so that you can become a more aware and a more calm and a more effective coach. And so I think we'll add this in the show notes, but you can get free access to my 8-week meditation program. So for 7 days, you'll get sent daily guided meditations. And these are super powerful because I use a healing frequency in the background that I'm playing with a crystal quartz tuning fork. And so those frequencies are also going to put your brain in a theta brainwave state. That just basically means you're going to go into hypnosis, but it's a hypnosis that's totally safe and that you're in control of. And it's the point of hypnosis is to reprogram your mind. And I think one of your guests said this, right? Like take out the old programs that are the viruses in our brains and our computers, and install, more effective and more productive and healthier programs.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I loved that analogy because I'm all about analogies. It helps me understand things better. And Claudia's meditations are so powerful. I love them. Like I said, she's one of the only 2 that I really like to listen to, and I feel really aligned with her. So I definitely recommend you take advantage of this. I think it can be a huge game changer, whether you're new to meditation or not. They're very powerful tools. So thank you, Claudia, for doing that. I think that's great. And we'll definitely put that link in the show notes. I have one question for you that I had received from somebody in our Facebook group about meditation, because we were talking about it the other day. And I noticed a lot of the entrepreneurs in the Facebook group meditate every morning, which I absolutely love. And makes me so happy. And some people have these amazing meditation games that they're doing, and I just love it. But then I had a question from somebody who said, I pray every day and I want to meditate, but I feel like my mind's too busy. We hear that a lot. And what's the difference between prayer and meditating?
I love this question so much. So praying is when you're speaking to God, source, the universe. And meditation is when you're listening to God, spirit, source, in the universe.
That's exactly what I thought you would say. I love it. That's such a good explanation. So true. I love it.
Yeah. So, meditation is not trying to change your religious belief or anything. No, it's just for you to be more aware of your thoughts and get in tune to your body. So I would definitely recommend it. It just has endless benefits. Actually, it'll reverse the aging process. It actually increases skin elasticity. So you won't need Botox like 30, 40 years from now. Just meditate 10 minutes a day and it'll do all those wonders for you. It's going to improve your eye vision. It's just incredible, right? Like you're just going to be more focused. You're going to be more creative. And as business owners, we always have to be creative, right? Create new offers, create better products. And there's just truly endless benefits, so much clarity and just this connection to your body and being more aware of what's not serving you and what is serving you. So I can't speak enough about the endless benefits of meditation.
Same. I agree. So do you need to meditate an hour? I just have a couple basic questions before we wrap up. I know people get really intimidated. Let's say they go onto YouTube and they're trying to find a meditation and this one's an hour and 45 minutes and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time. How long is the perfect meditation, if there is such one? And when is the best time to meditate?
So I would recommend that you meditate in the morning because we want to be in control of our days, right? You don't want to react to situations. You want to respond to situations. And if you meditate in the morning, you'll have that sense of calmness and that clarity so that you can respond instead of react. So I would definitely say in the morning. And the perfect meditation, it depends on where you are on your journey. If you're starting off, then 10 minutes, right? And don't just try to quiet your mind, because you're going to hate it and you're never going to want to meditate again. So I would definitely say start off with listening to guided meditations, and it depends where you are in your journey, right? Also depends what type of healing you want to do with meditation. Is it like more of like, decreasing the effects of stress, or is it some type of physical healing that you want to do, or do you want to do manifestation? So all of those require different amounts of time. So there's no perfect way to do it. Just do whatever will help you to be more aware of your thoughts.
Perfect. And again, you guys should really take advantage of her 8-week program. We will put the link in the show notes. Claudia, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was so good to visit with you, and I hope everyone is really excited about starting or continuing on with their meditation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lindsay. Thank you so much. And yeah, to everyone out there, you are obviously doing this for a reason. You decided to become a coach for a reason, and the world needs more incredibly powerful and generous women like all of you are. And just remember that you are powerful, right? Every time. Like, that's another type of meditation you can do. You can just say, I am powerful, I am powerful. And eventually the neurons in your brain are going to wire it so that you really believe that you are powerful. And so I'm just so grateful for all of you who are doing this, because you guys are truly making a huge difference. And thank you, Lindsay, for making a difference in my life and in lives of so many other women.
So good, Claudia. Thank you.
Want 10 ways for you to start booking your dream clients? I created this workbook for you because I wanted to share my best tips on how I book mine. You're not going to believe how easy these are, and I know you'll be able to take my tips and put them into action ASAP so you can start working with your dream clients. To grab the workbook for free, all you have to do is go to lindsaymaloney.com/podcast. Hey coaches, are you a member of the Book Your Dream Clients community yet? Because you should be. Just go to dreamclientcommunity.com to request free access. We do fun things like website audits, challenges, and we even have a book club. Join the free Dream Client community now, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much for listening to the Book Your Dream Clients podcast. If you want to find out more information how you can work with me, just head on over to my website, lindsaymaloney.com. You will be able to see how you can work with me privately or in a group setting. I'm all about helping you start and scale your coaching business, so I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes and leave a rating and review. And if you want bonus points, take a screenshot of a review and tag me on your Instagram story. I'd love to see it and share it with my audience. And plus, you don't want to miss another episode.